Okay, talking New York Yankees here in episode 592 of the podcast. Gonna try to make this one 30 minutes ish, just because I have the Knicks game starting up in literally 30 minutes tops. Let me fix that. As I speak, as I record, it is Wednesday, December 13th. And we are talking New York Yankees again. So let's get into the show, waste no time. And again, this might be a shorter, hopefully 30 minutes tops episode so I can get to watching this Knicks game. Let's talk Yankees, though. We got some things to cover first. So this will be a good show. Stick around. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding. That is over.
Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 592. Talking New York Yankees in this episode once again. So again, we're going to try to make this a short show. Welcome to BD4. Talk a little Juan Soto some more. Talk a little Yankees Dodgers. They made a trade. And maybe we'll hit on the Yamamoto stuff in a little bit. Yeah, Juan Soto had his press conference, his introduction to the media. Was it yesterday? Tuesday? It was held on Zoom. So that kind of killed my excitement. I didn't even watch it. Saw clips of it. I was so excited for it, though. As soon as they made the signing, I was like, oh. I just had like flashbacks of like A-Rod. He was another one of my favorite players at the time. Coming over to the Yankees, I was so thrilled. I had that same feeling because Soto is one of my favorite players. And I have flashbacks to the A-Rod presser where he's holding up the jersey. The Yankee executives and all of them were in suits. The camera's flashing. You hear the clicking. Talking to the media, speaking at the podium. Like, I don't know. I had that envision. This is the biggest trade since A-Rod. So to find out it was going to be held on a Zoom conference kind of killed a lot of the buzz regarding the introduction. Technology kind of makes us lazy because we just default to the easier, more convenient option. But I get it because, they're probably doing, free agency stuff. But it's like, save it for another day. Maybe it was only because he's going to be here for 1 year. It's not like this was a big deal. You have him for a year, so you probably spare the press conference for that reason. But, yeah, I listened to some clips. I saw it's nice to see him in a Yankee hat, and he gave the usual. He didn't really say anything special. Just the cliche, I'm excited to be a Yankee. I'm here to win. Talked about the Dominican Republic population in the New York in the city. Excuse me. Hoke did bring up the extension though, and Soto basically, I'm paraphrasing, said, talk to Boris. So he didn't really give much. He did mention in the interview that I guess they were talking about somebody asked him. I read about this part. I didn't see the clip, but they asked him about playing with Aaron Judge, and he was like, "Yeah, something along the lines of, yeah, it'd be cool, or it's gonna be cool for the time being, something like that." And I don't think he's signing back, so at least not an extension. Maybe they do something in the winter next year. But I'm prepped. I'm fully prepped. I think others should be at least prepared for it. He's a rental. He's here for a season, and now we have to try to win this thing. So, if anything, that should motivate the Yankees to be even more hungry to win and to be even more hungry to go out and make the big splash this offseason, in acquiring Yoshi Yamamoto. Because this is your window. They did make a trade a few days ago. It was announced that Yankee prospect Trey Sweeney, shortstop, will be heading to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers in their system. And the Dodgers sent over to the Yankees Victor Gonzalez and Yorbit Vivas. This was a move from the Dodgers' end to clear spots on the 40-man. Because after signing Joe Kelly and obviously making the Shohei Ohtani deal, they needed spots. So they moved a couple of guys off, and this is for the Yankees. They're getting, bullpen depth. They're getting farm depth. The Yankees have slots open on the 40-man, so they could do something like this. And Victor Gonzalez, I want to touch on him for a little bit, because a lot of people I feel like are talking about Yorbit Vivas. He's not going to be part of the team, if ever. Not going to be part of the team this year. We know that. God forbid everyone stays healthy, please. But Victor Gonzalez, relief pitcher, 6 feet, 180 pounds. There's a good chance that he's your Wandy Peralta replacement. He's a left-handed pitcher, 28 years old. I believe he has 3 more years of control. And in addition to that, he still has an option left if you want to demote him. But he's probably your replacement for left-handed Peralta. He's a much cheaper option. Peralta made about $3.5 million, $3 million, I think it was, this past season last year, and that's probably going to double now. In the upcoming season, I would imagine he's going to make at least 6, maybe more. But Gonzalez, after arbitration, he's only estimated to make $1 million next year. He's also a similar pitcher where he gets a lot of ground balls with that sinker, just like Peralta did. But yeah, over the course of his, short career so far, Victor Gonzalez is 9-4 with a 3.32 ERA. Averages 3.1 walks per 9 in his career, 8.7 strikeouts per 9. That's across 89 and a third innings in 93 appearances. Last season in particular, 3-3 record, a 4.01 ERA, 2.7 walks per 9, 8 strikeouts per 9. That was across 33 and 2/3 innings in 34 appearances. He's got some postseason experience too. He was part of that 2020 Dodgers team that made the World Series run in the COVID year. And he pitched 8 games out of the bullpen in the World Series in the postseason. 6.2 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, 5 hits. Give me 1 second here. Where was I? Oh, yeah, no, I like this move because he's going to be part of the team. And right now I'm just focusing on who's part of this organization, who's part of the Yankees. And I feel like he's already a decent reliever. coming to the Yankees, I trust them 100% to make him a reliable bullpen arm. The Yankees have been great at developing bullpen talent. Matt Blake has done an excellent job with the bullpen. If there's one thing they're elite at, it's finding bullpen talent. Look at Wandy Peralta. Before he was a Yankee, he had a 4.72 ERA in 5.5 seasons in the National League. Comes to the Yankees, that becomes a 2.82 ERA in about 2.5 seasons. So I trust them to do with this guy everything they've done with everyone else. I was, searching around on his baseball reference, doing some nerding. Pretty good. It's mostly red on his baseball reference. Not fully, but they're mostly on that side. So the indicators look good, right? And he's a 2-pitch pitcher. Okay, he's sinker slider with an occasional changeup that he doesn't go too often. But he's a 2-pitch pitcher for the most part. Sinker sits around 94, 95. So he generates a lot of ground balls from that pitch. He throws it to lefties. He'll throw it to righties. It's the one pitch of the three that gets hit the most. But his slider is his put-away pitch. That's the pitch that generates the swing and miss. Gets a lot of whiffs. He's got 39% K rate on that slider over the course of his career. He'll go back door, front door, to lefties, to righties with it. That's his out pitch, that slider. And then again, the changeup it's an effective pitch when he mixes it in, but he uses it very sparingly on a very low volume. Just a 7% usage on the changeup last year. And he only goes to his changeup against right-handed hitting. One sec. I keep getting distracted. I gotta put my shit on Do Not Disturb. I would assume that he's probably, Matt Blake likes to emphasize the changeup with a lot of these guys. I would like to see him use that, work on that more with the Yankees. And, that's a pitch that Ron Marinaccio has went to as well. He likes going down and in with that pitch against the right-handed hitter. That's probably where Victor Gonzalez goes with it. But I would like to see him put more focus on that pitch this year. To see if Blake can make him can get him to throw that pitch more, feel more confident about it. And I'm curious about it because his arm angle is slightly lower than Wandy. It's not sidearm, but it's closer too. So that'd be an interesting changeup to see with that arm action. So he's probably a replacement in my opinion. I don't know that they're going to pay Wandy now. Victor Gonzalez probably going to be similar to where he'll be a matchup pitcher, but you'll see him face righties and lefties because last season he actually did pitch better against right-handed hitters than he did lefties, despite being a left-handed pitcher. That wasn't the case the first 2 seasons, but yeah, you'll probably see him take on that role. He's pitched 3 seasons. He missed all of 2022 with an injury. He pitched 13 games for Dodgers farm system in OKC. So I think he'll be a good addition to the team. I have confidence the Yankee bullpen is going to be fine. Trey Sweeney, former first-round pick, shortstop. Not a big name, but a name you hear often in among the Yankee fan base and Yankee media. The big thing on him is he's, got a nice lefty swing. But he's blocked here. He's blocked with the Yankees infield depth. Volpe, LeMahieu, Rizzo, Peraza, Glaber, Oswaldo Cabrera. There's a lot of infielders on this roster. So there was no way Trey Sweeney was making the debut in 2024. So it was a prospect for prospect swap to get Yorbit Vivas, second baseman, can play some third base. He's also a left-handed bat. He's a 22-year-old, currently number 10 in the Yankee system now. Some say he's better. Some say he's more talented than Trey Sweeney. His minor league numbers certainly say that he's better. He saw some AAA time last year too. So I don't know that I expect him around long. He could easily be flipped, but maybe they hang on to him. Maybe he's a future third baseman for this team. That's a position that's going to open up soon, depending on what they do with Peraza, obviously, too. But yeah, that's the trade that went down, I think, on Monday. And also on Monday, the Yankees met with Yoshi Yamamoto. You didn't get much from it other than the Jack Curry report saying that the Yankees left the meeting feeling very optimistic. And so they continue to send signs that they have this confidence to them this offseason, right? You heard about Hal making those comments about going over the $300 million payroll, right? You heard that the Yankees were keeping number 18 open since Tanaka left for this kid. You know, Yamamoto, if he comes to the Yankees, man, he would be the lone Japanese star here. So maybe he's thinking like that. You've been hearing that he wants to be his own. You know, other suitors in this race, like the Dodgers, like the Mets, they've got Kodai Senga. The Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani. The Yankees have the winning aura around their franchise, and they always will. That's something you can't say about those other two teams. The Mets will always be the little brother here. Nobody's ever going to think about the Mets when the Yankees are in the conversation. The Dodgers haven't won anything in 35 years. Nobody cares about the Mickey Mouse title. I also heard the San Francisco Giants won him, but I don't think anybody goes there anymore. You know, they lost out on Judge last year. The Correa thing fell apart. I heard they were even interested in Shohei. So I think it's going to come down to Yankees, Mets, Dodgers. And, I want them to be a Yankee very bad. I do have some scary thoughts. You know, I mean, the whole news with the Dodgers Ohtani thing scares the hell out of me. How this guy's going to be getting $2 million for the next 10 years in each year. They obviously did that so they could go after Yoshi Yamamoto. The tax Dodgers, that's a meme I've been seeing. So they're going to be going heavy at him. You know Cohen's going to be willing to go the extra mile too. And it's like, what is that extra mile? Well, initially you were hearing close to 200, then you heard past 200, and now you're hearing it seems like $300 million is very much a possibility for Yoshi Yamamoto. I was even listening to Talking Yanks earlier today. I don't believe this, but Jake was saying $400 million is possible. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, but I do think he's definitely getting 300 in that 300 range. Does Hal Steinbrenner want to pay that much in tax, right? Because you do, once you go over the luxury threshold, you're getting taxed on the dollar. Every dollar you get taxed for. And it's a large tax. It's a higher percentage of a tax than it ever was. So we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. The Soto move doesn't really tell me that Hal's ready to spend financially because he didn't give up. He's only paying him 30-something million. He's only got him for 1 year. He knows he's going to make him a lot of money. You know what I mean? So I'm not exactly confident they're going to splurge. Is that the term? That they're going to go on a spending spree. So we'll see. You know, he's a must though to me. I think Yoshi Yamamoto is an absolute must if you're the New York Yankees. I think it's a necessity to grab Yamamoto, pay him, and then after that, I still think you need to go after, a fringe number 5, number 6 starting pitcher. But if they can't sign Yoshi, a pivot to a lesser ace would be good, but not the same for me. Like what aces, number 1, number 2 pitchers are out there in the market right now? trade free agency. Blake Snell is one. He would cost a ton though also. And secondly, he's also another left-handed pitcher, and you have quite a few of those. If you get him, that's 3. Corbin Burns. I want Corbin Burns. He would be a rental, which means he would be 110% all in on this whole 2024 being World Series or bust, the way the roster's constructed. So it's got to be Yamamoto to me, man. I think he's the guy that makes it a clear. He gives me confidence, man, in this team. You know, something about him. Like Japanese pitchers, to me, they just scream consistency. There's health concerns, of course, with all these guys, but any pitcher, you know? And it's not like Yamamoto's one of those guys who throws 103, where his arm is bound to fall apart. So, there's the clip going around with his mechanics pitching in a bullpen. People are going nuts over it. That's not his in-game mechanics. So if anybody saw that clip and they're worried that those aren't his in-game mechanics, that's not his windup. You got to get him. And that's going to lead me to our final topic before we wrap this short episode up. And we'll get to that as soon as we return from our break here on BD4. Stay with us. Be right back.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show. You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the show. Whoopsies. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to episode 592 of the podcast. Let's play a little game. Let's play a little game called How Confident Am I in the Yankees Right Now? So as we speak, currently, this current roster on December 13th, 2023, 9:03 p.m., how confident am I in the Yankee roster? If opening day was tomorrow and this was what they have, I would say it's probably a third place team. You know, maybe a little better than last year. They'll make the playoffs, but not in World Series contention. Because it's a new look in the lineup with Soto, Verdugo. You're going to have a lot more Austin Wells. Some Trent Grisham will be in there, and maybe late summer, Jason Dominguez, right? You got outfield depth for Jason to take his time, and when Stanton goes down with an injury, you got depth. But it's also the same rotation, but less, if you're starting the season tomorrow. It's Cole, Rodon, Nestor, Schmidt, and then a vacant spot, which I guess at the moment would be Will Warren or Clayton Beeter. If the Yankees missed on Ohtani, but they went out and they signed Blake Snell, let's say, for still a lot but lesser money, or they traded for Corbin Burns, you know, a number 1, number 2 pitcher, those two guys, I think they're a second place team. I think they'll take a wild card for sure. They'll be maybe in the World Series conversation, but I don't see them at the top. And when I say I want Yamamoto, it's because I truly believe that with Yamamoto on this roster, and if they can after that go find a way to grab a fringe starting pitcher, maybe Frankie Montes on a 7-figure salary. But let's say they get Yamamoto, I'm back in. Like, I think this could be a 97+ win team again, compete for the division, definitely in the World Series conversation, probably at the top of the list. Like, I will have a lot of confidence in this Yankees team if they can get this last part of their offseason done. That to me is what it will take. So, and you're also like what I need really, like Soto, Yamamoto or not. Like what I really need is Carlos Rodon and Nestor Cortes to have rebound seasons next year. Because they both can't have the same seasons they had last year, where they dealt with injuries and they weren't exactly great when they were on the mound. You're going to need those guys to be effective for you. Rodon, I'm looking at as the guy who's making big bucks. You need him to at least be a number 3 for you. You need him to pitch to a 3.5 at very worst. Okay, he might not be San Francisco Rodon where he's got a low 2. He's going to pitch for a Cy Young. Or be in the race. But you need him to be an effective major league pitcher who can pitch like an ace some days, but not often get banged around even when he's not pitching like an ace. So Carlos Rodon's my wild card, regardless of if they get Yamamoto or not, or an ace or not. That guy needs to figure his shit out. But yeah, part of the reason I'm more confident, other than the Soto deal, obviously, is just because the AL East at the moment seems a lot weaker. The Rays, who came in second place last season, they lost a lot. Obviously, Wander Franco's finished. Shane McClanahan is going to be out with surgery, Tommy John. And so is Rasmussen. He's going to be out. Tyler Glass now, I believe, is heading to the Dodgers. He's not going back to Tampa. So you look at their rotation. Liddell, Eflin, Aaron Savali, who came over from from the Indians, Guardians. And then Shane Baz, the young kid. Not a rotation that scares me. Their lineup can do some things. But they did lose a lot. Can they hold up? Can they win games without that pitching? Toronto, they were third place last year. They were embarrassing in the playoffs, just like everybody else who made it. They'll be the same, I think. I think they'll be relevant, but they're fake tough guys to me. They're pretenders. They lost out on Shohei. Thank God he's not in the East. Alek Manoah is still a joke. They have no pitching. I don't know. I'm not too scared of Toronto. Boston, they were worse than the Yankees last year, and they lost talent so far this winter. They lost Alex Verdugo for Bronx potato chips. I'm hearing Yamamoto's visiting Boston, but come on. So I'm looking at Baltimore. That's the only true legitimate threat, in my opinion, if the Yankees do what they have to do. Because Baltimore's young, they're fun, they fight hard, they win a lot of games. They lost Bautista to surgery and Kyle Gibson, but they acquired Craig Kimbrell. They're young, so their players are only getting better. What's his name? At catcher is a freak. Why am I forgetting his name? Addison. What the fuck's his name? You know who I'm talking about. The catcher's a freak. So, yeah, I feel more confident about the Yankees this year. But I would save the World Series contender talk until after they get Yamamoto. If they can get that done, I would feel much more confident in this team. I would feel the most confident I've been in this team in a while. And I think it has to be Yamamoto and a small number 5, number 6 fringe starter after that. That'd be great. But we'll see. So we're not out of it yet, man. We got a lot of work to do. And I'm getting a little nervous. You know, the more I hear this Yamamoto thing drag out, I hear different things, and I'm like, I start overthinking. But we'll see. So that's that. We'll wrap this show up as soon as we get back from break. We'll get to our trivia. That'll be that. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 4, or 592.
If you have time in the day, or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. All right, so let's wrap this one up just in time as the Knicks just tipped off. With our trivia, I'm going to read it one time, then we're going to get the hell out of here because I want to watch this Knicks-Jazz game. True or false? Last season, Gerrit Cole surpassed CC Sabathia for the most seasons with 200-plus strikeouts as a Yankee. All right. With that said, that'll do it for this show. Episode 592 is in the books. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to BD4. And I'll see you in the next show. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!